Hello, everybody!
Hello, everyone!
It's the Agents of Sigmar. How are we all tonight out there in interwebs land? How are you, Robin? How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Yes, I've just had a cracking little game of Warhammer Underworlds Online with Matt about an hour ago.
I was watching that. Matt was streaming. I was watching it from his point of view.
Good game.
It was a dead draw, wasn't it?
It was a dead draw, and I kind of one of those things. In the current game, we're cracking straight on with it. I thought we might talk about it later, but the Underworlds game is the glory differentials are so small because you're not winning scoring much glory that really you need to be jumping onto an objective. And I kind of forgot that, so I drew a card for my last activation because nothing was happening, and I could have just run onto an objective. And I might have won.
No.
Yeah.
So
dapper haircut. Yes, I have had my haircut.
We've got loads of people online. I can't believe there's 33 people online already. So a quick look through. We've got Steve Keane. I think we actually surprised Steve. So sorry about that, Steve. We'll give you a warning shout next time. We've got.
Was that ready for action?
It was the ready for action. We got Chris Curie. We got Andrew Marlowe. We got Malaki. We got 92 Jin Kanzama. We got Dead Hands. We got Milky. We got Just Moostin. We got Circus of Paint. Hello, Circus of Paint. David Christie. Milky Paints might have done that one already. Ike Lenz, Ed Avery, I think I've covered everyone. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Strangely enough, the number of people watching has gone down since we started talking, Robin. We should have stayed offline. It would have kept going up otherwise.
Brilliant. Must have been bots. I reckon it was bots.
Circus of Paint.
Yeah.
Hello, and do check, all of our patrons, do check your inbox if you've just joined us, because we send you a little message with some links to stuff, because all our Patreon supports do get discounts at Versatile Terrain, and there's a link to Discord. Lots of our Patreon supporters are on Discord now, and frankly, it's buzzing over there. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I almost think like the Discord might actually be our number one sort of premium selling point now.
So yeah, so
forget the content.
Our patrons who aren't on Discord, do go and register on there, because we're constantly chatting on there. There's tactics and painting and the online forum and everything. So yeah. But
and a league. A Warhammer Underworlds League.
Yes, we're doing that as well.
It's going on over there too now, which is pretty cool.
So well, we're done with the hard sell now. Let's move on with an evening of entertainment and discussions. I'm just sorting my camera out because I've just remounted my camera recently.
I'm not touching mine. Mine is basically
held in place by hope.
Sort of 90% okay.
Being held by hope. Right, let's crash on. Let's talk about stuff. So we're going to talk about Underworlds tonight. We're going to talk about Beastgrave, Hrothgorn's Mantrappers, or the Many Rappers, as my phone keeps changing it to, the Wurmspat, and a little bit of Underworlds Online as well. So as always, our patrons have given us a set of questions to answer. So we're going to see how many of those we get through. As always, if you've got a question, chuck it in the comments. Chip in wherever you can. We'd like to get the conversation going. Always love seeing everybody chatting and sharing their points of view in the channel as well. But before that, we are going to do a little bit of a community shout out, because we thought it's a good idea to acknowledge some of the other people in the community who are doing great things in the Warhammer Underworlds world and sphere. Now, I don't know who you've got, Robin, but I think I always have to suggest and always put praise for Underworlds DB, because frankly, the website's awesome, and the guy who runs it Jason nearly always sends me all of the card images as soon as they come out. God bless you. Without you, our channel, our battle reports wouldn't have all the new cards on, frankly.
It's the speed with which him and, although I don't use it so much, the other one, the Underworld Deckers, is it the speed with which they get their cards up?
GW.
And is untrue, actually, how fast they get it all going, and all the different little sort of auto magic deck building and all that kind of stuff, and all the tournament decks. I do love Underworlds DB. I want to give a shout out. Well, since my Grand Clash performance, I thought I'd try and take the game a little bit more seriously. So I've been listening to lots of podcasts to try and see which ones I like and which ones are useful. And so I haven't gone too far back historically, but I've been listening to basically everybody who's creating a podcast at the moment for Underworld. Then I've been listening to it, and so I wanted to shout out all of those guys. Really, I do like some of them more than others. A particular attention, I think, should be paid to the one by the Steel City Underworlds guys, Chatting Crit.
Chatting Crit, that's a new one. That I think Chatting
Which
Crit's
I think
a new
I still
series
think
they're
they
doing.
should
It's a
have
six-part series, I think, Chatting Crit.
Yeah, well, I think that's partly why I like it, because it's very focused.
Yes.
And the other ones are all kind of weekly, so they're kind of like you probably need to listen to a few of them to get into how they run, and then also they're very focused on what happened that week or maybe the week before. Whereas the Chatting Crit one is focused on it's cool. I think it's basically preparing for a Grand Clash, but the one I particularly liked was the aggro one. It was just talking about aggro style of play, and it was just very interesting to hear those guys talk about how they do it. And then I enjoyed Aman and Jonathan talked for at length about the LVO. That was quite interesting.
Right.
Aman did really well,
very well.
but not quite well as he hoped. Which was a shame. But that was interesting listening to that. It's quite a long one, that one. But so that got me thinking about the competitive game, because obviously you and I aren't really top tier competitors.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But listening to all of these podcasts, like there's a very it's basically the idea of the meta seems to be kind of the same across the world. I know there's talk about the American meta and the English meta being slightly different than they perhaps are, but everybody seems to have the same general idea about what decks are good and what cards are good and what makes a good deck. But it almost seems like the biggest differential in competitiveness is how often you play. This is what I've gleaned from listening to many podcasts. They all seem to the things they talk about. I think, well, I know that, and I particularly about the deck building. I know that, and I can do that. But I think it is just experience of playing as many different people and as many different warbands as you possibly can.
I think one of the things that we always lack on is the ability to play other people. We've played most of the warbands. We've played quite a few games, but there's just no way we'll ever match. I think it was Michael Carlin said that in his prep for the Grand Clash he played over 100 games with Rippers.
He played 100 games,
and that was
with
Rippers.
Yeah, I mean,
that wasn't even including the games he played with other warbands. That's just wow.
I think I played 6.
That's just. I mean, that's a level just wow. That's crazy. So. But anyway, so that's our little shout out to the community. So do check those out. Awesome content, all of those. Whether you're after just resources or competitive stuff, do shout out in the channel if you've got any suggestions. If you're watching this afterwards, put them in the comments below. If you're watching now, do stick them in the comments. What do you rate? Who do you say is all right?
Yeah. And a big shout out to Davey as well on What the Hex, because Davey's one of our patrons.
As is Amanda,
and theirs
as well.
Is really good. Yeah. Aman's and Jonathan Path to Glory, and what Davies is What the Hex, and I like them both. I think I like the ones that are more focused and just a couple of people talking, maybe 3. And most the good ones are kind of 2 people talking and then they have a guest. I like that. Matt's going on about our in the pipeline glory hole.
Yeah.
podcast.
I think that's going to be a winner. I can't see how it couldn't be.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, Andrew Marlowe says 100 games. That is insane. I agree. I don't think I've played 100 games ever, let alone in preparation for a Grand Clash. That's why I'm never going to be in the top 16. Unless something goes really wrong and there's a freak accident that involves like the top 24 best players in the world, which somehow also kills the next 64 runner-up players in the world, and then maybe I've got a chance.
Maybe so less stressful there. Maybe just best case pairing goes wrong in the last 16.
In first place. So let's crash on with some questions then. We've got some questions from everybody, loads of questions here tonight. So some of our Patreon questions. Rob Watson says, hello Rob, if you've got a couple of weeks, we've had a couple of weeks looking at the new warbands, how do we feel they'll fit into the Beastgrave landscape, and do they seem fun to play? Are there any Grimwatch beaters out there? Do you wish you hadn't already chosen warbands to play over a period of time? Now, we have decided to change who we're going to play with over the next 6 weeks. Robin's going to take Hrothgorn and I'm going to take the Wurmspat. Only because they're brand new. I love Nurgle, and that's why. So we're still going to play a few mixed games, and we are going to pick our other warbands that we did talk about before as well. They are going to feature, and as always, our $10 patrons will get to choose the games that we play. So we are going to stick with them. Back to the question. After looking at them for a few weeks, how do we think they'll fit into Beastgrave? Do they seem fun to play? Are they Grimwatch beaters? Well, I think Hrothgorn might be a Grimwatch beater. I don't think the Nurgle are going to beat anything, really.
I don't agree either of those, actually. I think that I'm not sure Hrothgorn. I think he could beat. I think he could beat Grimwatch, but I think the good Grimwatch players will soon work out how to manoeuvre around him. And I suppose it's going to be a little bit luck dependent. If you can get those destroying objective cards to work early on, you might be able to hold them at bay. But they can score glory so quickly, and of course they can bring people back. I think and the trap, unless you can really place it well, is kind of a minimal use against Grimwatch because their fighters are quite small.
Like the trap's going to be good
and can come back. And I think you.
Sorry, I was going to say I feel like the trap might be a really useful mechanism to block off advances and to maybe run Bushwhacker forward, dump that on an objective on their side. Like, if you want supremacy now, you're going to have to come my way or take the damage.
Yeah, true. Yeah, well, they can almost afford to do that though, can't they?
Almost, yeah. But they've got to sacrifice someone, give you that glory heads up start, or they've got to put someone on there who's going to take 2 wounds, and then they're ripe for being taken out by any one of your guys, not just Hrothgorn. You've got, I can't remember the name of the cat, but you've got El Cato, who can move pretty fast, and he's not bad on the old damage front as well, so he could sprint in and snipe people off.
They're definitely better than Moloch now, especially as Moloch's taken a nerf. I think that Yoga, and I mean he is tasty. I think he's going to mess things up. Well, mix things up, not mess things up. He's going to mix things up in the meta. I think you can't ignore his existence. So that in itself might make the game bring the other warbands down a little bit, because they're going to have to take some more perhaps defensive tech or things to think about him. So they're going to have less push cards to keep moving those objectives and moving you off the objectives or whatever. So I think maybe, but I don't know.
Justin says that trap will be great for using distraction on Bushwhacker. Unfortunately, he can't be caught by his own trap. Anybody else can, just not him. So yeah.
Yeah, and that in itself is an issue. I found when playing the Mantrappers for Hrothgorn, you have to be really careful where you put the trap, and actually it becomes. Although if you create a narrow channel, it's also a narrow channel for you as well, because you have to watch. Now there's double distraction. You really have to watch where you put your ogre.
That's true.
Otherwise, he's down to 4 wounds before you know it.
The case.
When we played, I don't want to spoil too much about the games we had, but when we played our game recently, when we were playing with all of the universal cards, I was really worried about you having 2 distractions, and just really, especially with the amount of lethal hexes knocking around as well, because that's the other thing. If you have the flip technology that the Hrothgorn has, there's suddenly a lot more lethal hexes around, which again is a double-edged sword for the big man.
That is true. I mean, they do have a lot of, well, I say a lot, they've got 2 of their own, I think, which is 2 more than every other warband pretty much. I think some of the others have got maybe 1 option, and then there's 1 universal, so they've got 3 ways of getting rid of objectives. If you can do that, then that proper buggers up Grimwatch.
And there's a couple of others as well. There's 3 easy ways, and I think there's a couple of things like there's the one where you have to, I think it might be an upgrade, and you can reaction and turn it over.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to bugger up Grimwatch now.
Yeah.
So another question was asked also on top of that is, what do we make of them putting 8 Surge cards in with the Ogre pack and only 3 with Wurmspat? Specifically aiming at the championship format, that kind of thing. Do we feel that they should have made all faction decks legal out of the box? I feel that they should have done. Yeah. I'm quite annoyed that the Ogors got 8 Surges and Nurgle got 3, 2 of which are pretty crap. Frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that would suggest a lack. Because that's just evidence of how long in advance Games Workshop make their packages up.
True.
If I'm guessing that rule hadn't even been considered when they were deciding what cards to put in the box. However, I do feel a little bit like, what were they thinking anyway? Because one warband, even if you didn't have the restriction, one warband's got 3 and the other's got 8. It's very unlikely to be balanced.
Yeah, it does highlight to me that I think Hrothgorn, the Mantrappers, generally have easier objectives than the Nurgle warband do.
Yeah. But I don't think. I haven't played them yet, but I don't think the Wurmspat are as bad as you think they are. I think I didn't want to say that. I think that they. I'm not sure Hrothgorn's a great matchup for them.
Yeah, I think Hrothgorn is definitely like an S tier, like top tier warband, or at least he's much higher than I think the Wurmspat are. I think Wurmspat need more finesse, possibly.
I've probably practiced. I think that their style It's going to suit some players. I think Michael Carlin's going to have a field day with them, but I think their style is very different to the way you normally play, and I think it's going to take a while for anybody who's used to playing, because you normally like playing the fast moving warbands with a fair amount of killing power, and I think that going from that to playing the Wurmspat is, because I think you've got to bide your time and try and build up your glory, and then maybe they can maybe hit hard,
or at least take a hard hit and not budge.
Yeah. But I'm still like you. I have concerns about how they can actually generate their own glory while attempting to deny
that's the problem.
others.
I remember reading online. Someone suggested maybe the Wurmspat excel more end round glory and stuff. But no other warband works that way. Well, really, most warbands go for the pile on as much glory as quickly as possible sort of approach. So to have a warband that you think is then going to be a end phase glory earner, it just doesn't feel to me like they're going to do any good. I don't know. It's tricky, but I think I need to play with them more.
Andrew says he's got some crazy deck ideas for the Wurmspat. Maybe we should just get Andrew to create both decks and then just play off Eyes of the Nine versus Nurgle. We are going to play Eyes of the Nine versus Nurgle, Siege versus Nurgle in the not too distant future. I'm really looking forward to that game.
Well,
but maybe we'll get Andrew to design both decks.
That game yet or not, but we'll see. Circus of Paints.
Just going to scroll up, Pete, because we had a comment from somebody called Sean Blake, who I don't remember commenting before.
Hello, Sean.
He says he hasn't touched the game since he was told he can't compete with his Shadespire warbands.
You can compete with the warbands, just not the Shadespire. I can't remember what they're called now. You can play with the warbands, and you can play with the warband specific cards. You just can't play with the Shadespire universal cards. Yeah.
Well, that's what why I was brought it up, because I was just going to clarify what you meant. Did you mean that people said they're not competitive, or did you mean that people said you can't use the cards? Because you can use as Pete just said, you can use all the warbands. You just can't use the universal cards. The only problem might be, and that's in competitive games. Obviously, you can in friendly games or relic matches, as they call them, friendlies. Use everything. But the whether they're competitive or not, I'm not so sure. I don't know. I haven't looked at them since the new cards came out. I mean, some
Reavers could do well.
Some players have done well with them.
Maybe.
We know Oryx I feel like
top 16.
Yeah, and that was Timothy, wasn't it? Was it? Did they get to the top 16?
I thought he did. Maybe he didn't.
No, he was playing in the skirmish. But he came top. He came fourth in the skirmish.
Oh, that's
the next
right.
day.
Yeah. So
Oryx. Yeah. So they have, and he did well.
One of our patron supporters, I might add.
Yeah. Yeah, most of our patron supporters are better players of the game than we are.
If they're a patron supporter, they're automatically probably a better player of the game than we are.
That's probably right.
That does. Somebody asked in the chat just now as well, what do I feel about Fecula casting spells to score some surge cards? Alistair.
Ed says he is.
And Circus of Paint asked this question as well, saying now that we've given the Wurmspat a go, we don't think their faction objectives are great. In that case, what type of deck do we think we're going to build? Well, I'm going to be going to answer both of those. I'm going to be going with a sort of attempted magic heavy denial sort of deck. My first attempt wasn't the best build, I think, so I've got another one. I don't know, before I play Robin with it, I'm going to be going to a tournament this weekend, so I'm going to try it out there and see how I do. And then I'll tell you whether I've burnt all the cards and the models after that or not. So we've got some more questions coming up here. So we've got some from a Mr. Marlowe. He's given us his usual deck of questions. It's always nice. Some easy ones in here, some less.
Circus of Painters, he was also considering a magic heavy denial deck. I think that's kind of the way they have to go.
They do, yeah. Yeah, it's a question of which card you
Milky doesn't want you to burn the models.
Milky, I won't burn your models. I'll buy another box and burn that just to... I'll never burn your models.
Next week's live stream.
Pete Bunning's 52 watching in, 53 now. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
This weekend you're going to the competition,
Saturday I'm going, yes.
Saturday, good luck.
Yeah, well, I don't know how I'm going to do. I'll be turning up late. I have already let the guy organising it know I'm going to be late. I don't think they've got enough people to do a full proper tournament, so I think it's just going to be like round robin games or something like that. Hello, Loz. Why doesn't Loz sign in, Matt?
I'm not.
Tell Loz to sign in.
They can't play round robin. I'm
sorry.
They can't play round robin. I'm not going.
Loz says hello, but Loz, sign on. You can sign on and say hello yourself. Let's get this number up. We're up in the 50s. Let's get up higher. So.
Well, I might like it. I might like us.
Yeah. Oh, Robin's liked us. Hooray, 9 likes. Hit that like button, people. Smash that thumbs up. Don't forget to follow
it's
and
up to
subscribe
10.
and everything. So do all of that great stuff. Fecula is always the first one to die, David. You are right. You do need to keep her way back. She is very squishy. 1 shield is not enough anymore.
It's best not to leave her too near the trap, I found.
Yes, anyway, moving on. So, Mr. Marlowe asks, which is your favourite warband out of the 2 new ones? Robin?
I'm going to say the Wurmspat. Even though I haven't played them. I love the models. The models are more interesting, I think. The models are great, and I like the fact that they're very different to most of the other things. I mean, obviously the Ogres have got the trap, which is a new mechanic that we haven't seen before, but they're basically, I think, a slightly more interesting version of Monarch. Yeah. The Noblards are better than the Squigs, and I think, but he hasn't got a range of 2 attack. Well, he's got a range of 3 attack. But he hasn't got a big attack that's range 2.
Yeah,
but
not range 2. No,
and he hasn't got 6 wounds. He's only got 6 wounds rather than 7. But he's got his own in-faction sudden growth. I think he's just a different version of Murloc. So we've kind of seen all that before, but we haven't really seen anything quite like the Wurmspat. I suppose they're actually closest. Might actually be Turtling Stormcast back from season 1. But with spells, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The models themselves, I mean, love the sculpts. Absolutely adore them. The warband fighters themselves aren't anything spectacular. They're, 3 move, 2 defense on Inspire. That they've got that shield mechanic to reduce damage, which I know might be good if you can roll a shield.
I really like that. I think that's the neatest mechanic. I don't know whether that's actually true or not, but I feel like it's the neatest mechanic in the game. I really like it. It really fits with their. Because we all talked about how they're going to do the disgusting resilience type stuff, and we're going to be too overpowered. I really like how it works, and I really like the fact that there are some quite subtle ways in which you can build upon that to make it better. It's really interesting to me, that mechanic.
Yep. So another question we got from Mr. Marlowe, because we haven't answered many of his yet. He's got tons of them, loads of them. Are we planning on having monthly online Shadespire Underworlds tournaments for our patroners?
Yes.
I don't see why not, really.
Yeah, I could see that running. All of
our Patreon supporters are invited to join into our Warhammer Underworlds online games. We might expand that at some point in the future to include other versions of online play. But, I mean, it's so easy to play that game. It's brilliant. Really is.
It is, and I'm really liking going back in time. It's back to a simpler time.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I scored 11 glory. Personal best.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, I didn't score at least 10 glory in the first round. I'm giving up.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a bit frustrating. I had it was a good game in the end, but I had a frustrating first turn in my game this evening because Matt deployed at the back and like the Aurochs, I didn't have any cars to go and get them. Trying to run across the board. No, it's frustrating, and I forget those days are almost long gone. With everything's more mobile now. I mean,
most warbands these days is like, you set up near the back. I'm still going to get you with somebody at some point, and there's a lot of cards bouncing around now to help with that as well.
But it's easy to jump on, and it's really nice now. You can do this keyword thing or code word to match up with friends or people you know online. I think it's Ed said I used up all my crits earlier in the day. Yeah, I've had the last 4 games. The game before I played a random stranger, I missed 8 attacks in a row with the Aurochs, and then against Pete and Ed, I pretty much back to back all my attacks with solid crits and everything, and then against Matt it was pretty average actually. But yeah, the missing 8 in a row was that was fun.
Jason Newell says the Wurmspat would benefit from the card that always puts you on guard when you're a quarry. Would it? Because it only gives you dodges as well, and they're already rolling shields and crits. I don't know whether. I mean, you're always on guard, so that is a plus. I just feel that card's much better for your dodge-based warbands because then it gives them another 1/3 chance of success rather than 1/6. But yeah, maybe. We should have to see on that.
Wurmspat would be awesome when they inspire, have extra defense dice and re-rolling defense dice. The shield -1 damage will save your fighters from death, which would be huge. Yeah,
we got asked a couple of other questions which are sort of similar here, which is, apart from Underworlds, what's our favourite game system favourite card game. So game system and card game. I'm not sure if game system it means other GW game system, because I pretty much have only ever really played GW systems. And favourite card game. So jump in, Robin, if you've got anything on you can already think of.
I love Go Nuts for Donuts.
I like that game, actually.
I love Go Nuts, and I actually really enjoy. Our family really enjoyed Gubs. Another game Gubs is brilliant. We play that a lot.
I played. There's a Rick and Morty game. I can't remember what it's called now, but you have to try and work out who the evil people are and stuff. But that was a really cool game. You have to be a fan of Rick and Morty to really, really enjoy it, but I really enjoyed that one. And I did like when we played the Star Wars game. I did like that. It was a very, very small example that we had, but I enjoyed the WeGo system rather than the usual Games Workshop.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm still harbouring hopes of bringing games of that to the channel. Whether we ever will or not, I don't know. But I've now got 2 units painted.
At this rate, we'll be able to play a game next January.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm aiming for, really. But you can't. The problem with playing Fantasy Flight games is that the stuff comes out and it's in the shop for about a week, and then you can't get it. It doesn't. It's been out of stock for months. I want to get the new core set box. By the time I decided I wanted to get that, I couldn't get it anymore, and it's just been out of stock.
Annoying.
So it's really frustrating. It kind of turns me off playing. Ed just says Legion skirmish rules. That's what I want to try, the skirmish rules. But yeah, it's put me off a little bit getting into the game because I can't find the stuff that I want. Right, somebody said Munchkin. I'm not a fan of Munchkin. I haven't played for a really long time. But I just used to find the games lasted forever, and it was one of these games where you go, well, I'm going to play this. No, well, you can't play that. Oh, well, I'm going to play this then. Well, no, you can't do that either. And it just got really irritating, and I got fed up. Tiny Epic Tactics, Jason says. Yes, I've got that. It's in a box, and it's just over there, and I'm going to get it out and play it over the half-term holiday with my son, so I know how to play, and I'm going to make Pete play it on camera.
Fine. I've not played Munchkins. I don't even know what Tiny Epic Tactics is all about. Somebody suggested something else, I'm sure, but I missed what it was now. So
Jaipur. Yeah, Jaipur is a good game. Although I haven't played it very much, but it is a good game.
I don't play anywhere near enough for anything.
I really struggle to get games to the table now. It's basically Underworlds or nothing.
Well,
it's just
we meet every week to play Underworlds, and we have to do that because if we don't, there'll be some kind of mob. I think
it's the law.
Dead Hands mentioned Blackstone Fortress. I enjoyed Blackstone Fortress. That was quite a good game as well.
We have a very important question from Darren Walker. It says he tried to sign up on Patreon via PayPal, was stuck in this loop, couldn't tell if the payment went through.
Okay, I don't think you're signed up, Darren, because I haven't seen anything to say that we've got a new Patreoner. Unless you were literally trying it just now. I can't see anything. If you want to try again, if you get stuck, do let us know. I don't know what we could do. You might have to contact Patreon. But thank you for trying at least. We appreciate it.
We'll try and sort you out.
Titanicus.
Perhaps send us a message on Facebook or something, or we can try and
Zach
sort
Matthews
it.
Suggested Titanicus as well. I'd love to try that because it looks epic, quite literally, figuratively, and literally. I'd love to try it, but again, it comes to time. And Jason says he wouldn't mind if we played other stuff every now and then. The problem we have is to get it to the same kind of quality level that we have Underworlds. We need painted models really. So that's quite hard for us to achieve.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, and playing any other Games Workshop game is almost like the investment involved in time and money to get it to a level of playing is almost prohibitive. But playing games like Tiny Epic Tactics or board games aren't so bad because you haven't got the painting overhead and you haven't got the Games Workshop games almost require that you buy lots of stuff to play. It's almost like that's their business model.
Milky Paint says cough when we're talking about painting stuff.
Yes, that's all that. And I also found that I also find that actually quite a few. I mean, I love Underworlds. I think Underworlds is the best game Games Workshop make, and therefore, if I think that's the best game they make, kind of difficult to go off and play something else. I think.
I do think it's one of the best games I've played from GW in a very long time. And whilst I have a whilst I have a soft spot for Warhammer and stuff like that, you just can't beat Underworlds for the speed of being able to play it. I mean, you can knock out 3 games in an hour and a half, if you're playing quick. So, I mean, that to me is just brilliant. The only problem I have with Underworlds right now is the card aspect of it. Having 1 billion cards to sort through, to find the 20 that you actually want to play with. That's the only problem I have with it. But Underworlds Online kind of really negates that bit, because you can build the deck online. I'm assuming they'll eventually create some kind of import function where you can feed in things to pick up decks that you've built, and then there's zero setup. There's no sorting out the cards and all that kind of crap. And I appreciate we probably do that a lot more than a lot of you guys and gals out there playing, but we're having to pick up new decks every week, which that takes a lot. So
But I like the fact that you can play, if you want to, you can bring Wurmspat one week and Reavers the next and Stormcast the next without being an issue. If you want to do that in Warhammer, I was going to say Fantasy Battle then, but that's the wrong game. Warhammer, iOS, you can't.
That is true. I mean,
they bloat the rules as well. If I'm going to play a new system, it needs to be a game for me. It's going to have quite a tight rule set, and that I know Underworlds has got a few issues, but mainly it's a very tight rule set that you know exactly what you're doing.
It's getting tighter all the time as
well.
Very
minimal FAQs,
tighter all the time, which is generally the opposite of what happens. So that's a good thing too. So just to pop back some questions. So some of our patrons did point out that they can paint. Cough cough. Thank you guys for all the painting you guys do for this. Frankly,
yes, it's
insane that you pay us in the first place to do this stuff, and it's doubly insane that you then paint stuff for us for free, which is just brilliant.
Miniature Fight Club says, "Are we coming over to Canada for their first Grand Clash?"
I wish. It
would be awesome to have you here. I'd love to have a life where I could just pop over to Canada to play Warhammer Underworlds, but sadly I do not.
Somebody else suggested that they would love to watch us play Drink, Drank, Drunk or Cards Against Humanity. I'm not sure we could play Cards Against Humanity. We'd probably offend everybody and no one would watch us again.
I think the whole point of that is that it doesn't. When you play, it doesn't go out of the room. I've never played actually.
It's incredibly offensive, but brilliant. I still think we need to play when we hit some big level. I'm not sure what, but we need to play Underworld's drinking game. Every time you score a glory, you have to take a shot.
The Weathersburg says that importing decks is already in Warhammer Underworlds Online. Apparently, I've not seen it. I've only played Rawk so far and just tinkered with my deck slightly. Excuse the expression. Yes, I haven't done much else, but I did not know that.
My complaint about the cards really is a very small complaint overall. Like you say, there's no other game system out there where you can come along with 3 or 4 different armies and play one game after another with very little setup change. So it is brilliant.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, Jason. From what I've seen of Cards Against Humanity, it is just a bad joke Lego set.
But anyway, you can get some really offensively funny stuff out of it. So we've been asked multiple times now to go abroad to Grand Clashes. Frankly, I wish we could. Yeah. I really do wish we could. I would love to go to Canada.
I'm going to New York in a few weeks' time, but that's for a family holiday, so I'm not sure I can take my Underworld stuff with me.
They may not like it very much if you do that.
No. I think it's the same. I was listening to the Crit Def podcast. It's the same. We arrived the same weekend as they've got their grand. What do they call it? Grand scuffle. But it's in Georgia. I was like, and I thought just thinking. Well, I say to the wife, I'm just going out, darling.
We'll have to if we ever arrange
and then fly to Georgia. I'm not sure that would work.
If we ever arrange a agents clash of kinds, we'll have to call it something else. So that we've got clash, we've got skirmish, we've got scuffle. What can we have? Punch up?
Kerfuffle.
Oh, yeah. We have to do that. The grand kerfuffle. Agent's grand kerfuffle. Who's up for an agent's grand kerfuffle? That would be. We need to get a picture of
a grand seems a bit grand. So I'm not sure that.
Let's get back to Underworlds. Let's get back to the Underworlds stuff.
Yeah, okay. Underworlds. Go on. Give me some Underworlds.
Another Underworlds question for you. If you could only play one faction for the rest of time, but you can use any universals, who would you play?
So if I had to play...
could only play one warband for the rest of your life, who would you play?
Okay, right. So just because Matt says Grand Kerfuffle and Champagne Soiree. Oh yes, we were talking about on our Patreon Discord. We were talking about the Champagne Soiree earlier.
Oh yeah.
But if everybody bring picnic and champagne to our event,
Very nice.
whenever it may happen. Right. Sorry. If I can only play one warband with just the universals, or
you can have universals, but you can only have one warband. Right. Who would you play?
Eyes of the Nine.
Yeah, I kind of thought you were going to go with that one. But who would I go with?
Who would you go with? Sepulchral Guard.
Probably either Sepulchral Guard or maybe Skaven. Yeah, Andrew just pointed out. Robert says, "Give me the next question," and then proceeds to not listen to the question. It's very true. Yeah, very true.
It's fair enough. I have been married for a long time.
Well, that's one of my questions: is how long have you two known each other?
How long have we known each other?
Approaching near 20 years now.
Yeah, it must be. It must be.
This is our 20th year of our role-playing group.
Wow. Well, I've known you slightly longer than 20 years then. Because I did know you then. Yeah. So yes, it was 20 years.
Half my life.
20 years.
That's scary.
And my wife said tonight that Pete is Tigger to my Pooh Bear. That she was defining our friendship.
At least none of us were eel.
No, neither of us were real. No.
Okay, and we did also get the question: do we ever get in a huff playing with each other?
Since we were 10, you're welcome. Do we get in a huff playing with each other? What do you think?
You no. So, yes, thank you, Milky. Yes, since we were 10, I don't think we ever get in a miff playing with each other. I think we get in a miff playing with the dice.
Yeah, I think it's normally the dice. I occasionally get annoyed with Pete saying, "Can you just lean forward close to the microphone, please? Can you just say that again, please?" That occasionally gets a bit irritating, but I tend to just tend to fuck off, and then it's all right.
Add it to the list of things to stab a pin into a doll about later. Fucking idiot.
Yeah. But no, not with each other. We both had games where it's just like, oh, really. But that's more the dice.
Yeah, we do, and we've had those games where one person's, usually me, has got a deck which generally just hasn't been put together well, and then the dice don't cooperate either, and then nothing works, and both people are just sort of go, "I'm really sorry. I just wish this was."
Yeah,
I just wish it was better.
It's a point where it's embarrassing to just. Oh, sorry, I've hit again.
I've done it again.
And you've rolled nothing again.
Oh, that's the first time you hit, have you? Yeah. Well, I'm just going to roll a double crit on defense now. So I'm sorry about that.
The games that frustrate me is when you're losing and you just think, if I can just do this, then I can maybe I'll get back into the game. And then something happens. I remember one game, Pete, where you played distraction or move me. I was going to score calculated risk, which could give me some glory to actually put an upgrade on. And you played distraction, so I could no longer do it because it was too far away.
Recent game as well, yeah. No, didn't I? Didn't I injure you?
Oh, you bastard!
Reduce you to 1 wound or something like that. So. Pete turns up to Underworlds with a Nuno deck. It feels like that sometimes. Just that all the cards are pick up 2 more for me, and none of them are objectives I can score.
Matt's just said, Robin described my Warhammer Underworlds experience so far. It's funny, Matt, because your game was like that. Every time I thought, I'm just going to do this, you moved out the way or moved somebody out the way. I was most irritated.
I was watching his game, and he was just like, he had just the perfect card sometimes. And I've found when editing, I know when we're playing the games, sometimes I'll sit there and say, "Oh, you jammy git! You've got, you've decided to draw a card for a round, and you've picked up just the perfect card to help you score an objective and get another glory and stuff like that." And I've come to realise over time that's just because the deck you've built is a good deck. So you've got all the cards you need, and you have multiple options to do things. Yeah, but at the time, it can just when your deck is rubbish or not working how you want, or the dice don't like you, it can just seem like your opponent's incredibly jammy. When it's just it's just a better deck, and you've just got to be able to. It's very hard at the time, but you just got to be able to take that on the chin and say, "Look, it's just the way it is. I'm just going to have to accept this and move on." And I've learned that a lot more from when I've been editing the videos afterwards, where I look back and I just think, I can't get bitter about this. It was just a good deck because you just got the cards you needed when you needed them, and the deck I had built, it just wasn't very good. So, but it's very hard to do that during the game. I don't think I'm ever going to be in a place where I'm going to be able to do that and not get the huff sometimes. I don't know if anybody else out there has any suggestions for how to handle this. Does anybody have a way that they can, during the middle of a terrible run of gaming luck, where they can just sort of do something and think of thoughts themselves, take themselves to their happy place, and bring themselves out of that funk? Because I haven't found that.
I find it a different experience though. I react differently to Rob says to drink. I react differently to you than I do at the Grand Clash. I had when we're in the garage, obviously I know you a lot better. And when we've both had losing streaks, and when you're on the back of a long losing streak, that can be really painful. But at the Grand Clash, I tend to just be like, oh well, never mind.
What you say.
The only thing I have found, exactly. Ed says he has a laugh. Exactly. The only thing I have found is that the more it goes on, the more, especially at Grand Clash, the more stupid risks I take. Like, oh well, it didn't work this time. It's bound to work if it's even more difficult, and so I think my game starts
one time. It's bound to work this time when I attack you and you've got two supports.
Exactly, yeah. So which doesn't help. I think at the Grand Clash I've always just kind of laughed it off, but I do struggle with concentration at those places. And actually, I struggle with concentrating in Warhammer Underworlds Online as well. I don't know whether that's because quite often because we're playing on Patreon, so we're quite often talking to each other on Discord. And I kind of got one eye on that, and then I often just click on the wrong person, or even just don't notice what my objectives are and play for one, and I haven't actually got that in my hand, or it's not the one. A couple of the Rawk ones are similar, but not the same. And I need to concentrate better.
I find the Underworlds Online, the problem I have is I'm quite nervous about clicking something, because I know if I click it, I might be stuffed and not be able to undo the thing I didn't mean to do, or I might pick something, and then I've then got to play that upgrade on a fighter when I didn't actually want to, and then so that makes me a bit more nervous than, because in real life it's amazing the amount that you'll sit there and go, I'm going to play this on that person. Oh no, wait, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this other thing first, or oh, can we go back because I forgot to score this objective, that kind of thing. At least it doesn't forget to score objectives for you, which is nice.
No, it is good. It does need a function to go back when you've clicked on the wrong person. I've played the amount of times I've had to play distraction on sidestep on a character I didn't want to play on.
It's so annoying.
So the amount of time, I think it's up to 3 now, but it's still quite a lot.
We got asked a few questions about if we ever do an agent clash, a kerfuffle as it might now be called. Would it be a relic or championship? I think it would be championship, just to make life easier. Although I've not really thought about it too much, but I think championship would be easier. Although we wouldn't do best of 3, we'd probably just do best of 1 games and concentrate on giving people enough time to play those games and talk with their opponent, rather than, oh, I've got an hour and a half, I've got to get 3 games in here, I've got to get this crashed out quickly.
Yeah.
And we were also asked, would it be a live stream? I don't think so. I don't think we have the technology or
I don't think
so.
I think if we do an event, I think I would like it to be fairly informal as well. I wouldn't be looking to hold like a. In many ways, I wouldn't want people to bring in top meta decks. I think we've talked about having a prize for the most off meta deck. I can't remember how we described
the
it.
Least hot,
that
the cool deck, the coolest deck.
Yeah,
using all the cards that are least hot from Underworlds DB and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I think. Because it's just, as I said before, if we did one, I'd want it to be a social thing rather than a competitive thing. But that's just me. I'm more social than I am competitive.
Well, I think we talked about this after the Grand Clash. We said we far enjoyed the games on the Sunday as opposed to the Saturday, and I think a lot of the people we played with said they preferred that, and the people who played in the skirmish said they would have rather have played with us on the Sunday in Bugman's than in the skirmish on the Sunday. So. Yeah, I'm more a social gamer as well. So, I mean, I'd love being a social gamer because I can't be a competitive one. So,
well, that's true. I mean, it does help. But, there is no point in being a competitive gamer. I used to be super competitive. I think we talked about that last week. I used to be a bit win at all costs when I was a teenager, but I've learned that that's just on a hide into nothing these days. We've got a couple of questions coming up.
What have we got?
Brandon says he tries to remember all the horrible luck in games and losing streaks when he plays against opponents who just had a terrible luck themselves. Yeah, that's probably that's it. We've all had games where we've had terrible luck, and it's the same for all of us. So remembering that is important. Lorne Bongo says, in learning the game, what's the hardest things you've had to learn choice-wise while playing, i.e. when to discard or pick up cards? I think the hardest thing I've had to learn, or I think that's maybe is what people say earlier about having a good deck, is trying to have a deck that's not trying to do too many things, and then also not create a deck that relies on, say, one card. I think there was a time in the past when I might have played, let's say, Sorceress Scouring. No, not Sorceress Scouring. With the one where you get a glory for taking out an objective. I can't remember what that's called.
Yeah.
But there's two of them now, I think. But there was only one in the day. And then playing Abersoth's Unmaking and having no other way of doing it. And so basically, just there's one card with a 50-50 chance of it coming off to score that one glory. And I definitely used to create decks which had, too many. You need to have this card and this card at the same time to score this, and trying to get away from that. So now I always have 3 if I can to score one card. I think that make the deck function all the time. The hardest thing.
Compatibility between your cards. I was always guilty of building decks where I'd have one objective and one ploy that would work, and multiple objectives tied to multiple other ploys, but not ones that interchange. So I'd have this ploy for this objective and that ploy for that objective, and then it just never worked properly. The biggest problem I've had, or the biggest problem I have when playing the game, is when to decide when to go for those gambles to maybe get more glory versus easy score, less glory options. So you get those situations where you think, I've just got to move this guy from here over there, and I'm going to score 1 glory. Or I can move this guy over there and attack this other person, and as long as I get a hit off, I'll score 2 glory, for example. And I always pick the bigger glory option, whereas it's nearly always better to just go for the guaranteed 1 glory option. If that makes sense. So I'm always torn on that decision of, do I go for the death or glory literally and go for the 2 or 3 glory option, or do I go for the easy win 1 glory option? And it's nearly always better to go for the easier win 1 glory option. Jason says the hardest thing he has to learn is not to fall victim to white lion fever. If victory's inside, rush to meet it and throw it away due to carelessness. I'd do a bit of that. So it's hard to forget how many it's hard to sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. I read Andrew's comment, and then completely what I was going to say completely went out of my mind. Andrew was just saying, in the game I played against him in Warhammer Underworlds, I said I'm going to do something stupid here. I'm going to charge with the Harvester, and he had 3 of his Khorne guys in position, so I could hit all 3 of them, and I hit all 3 of them. So I did 6 wounds. I didn't kill anyone, but I did 6 wounds across them all. I think 2 of the attacks were crits, and the last one he failed the save on. It's one of those moments which just never happens normally.
The scything attacks almost never come off, but you succeeded.
It was a thing of beauty. So my
Pank says the hardest thing he had to learn was not to hide his partner's copy of Rebound.
We've not played it very much, Rebound, so we don't have as much hate for it as a lot of other people do. I think I've had one game where you used it against me, and it was a bit of a bitter taste. But at the end of the day, it was a restricted card, so you used one of your restricted slots on that card. So,
was it restricted in them days? No, probably wasn't.
C'est la vie. So some more questions from our Patreoners we've got here. Would you play a 40k variation of Underworlds? I think I would.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
definitely.
Because I like the game because of its ease to play and its accessibility and its speed, but I love most GW models in one form or another. So they could make a 40k version of that, and I would probably still play that.
I was hoping that the aeroplane one, Aeronautica. Would it be called Otherworlds? Could be, or Upper World, Overworld. I definitely I was hoping Aeronautica would have been kind of like that, but from what I've seen of it isn't really. I don't
think it's as good. Aeronautica looked a lot more fiddly than Underworlds is. But that could just be, because we're very familiar with Underworld, so it's all really easy for us because we played it so long. So yeah, that's a hard one. One thing I did want to point out a couple of things in here whilst everyone's listening. Wow, we've got 55 people watching. Thank you to everybody.
Oh, I've got something I need to talk out as well.
So
Hang on.
Write down.
Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to what you're saying.
What's different there to normal then?
I completely forgot. Sorry, were you talking?
So 2 things. In just over 2 weeks' time, or I think in 2 weeks today, we will do the draw for our giveaway. And if you haven't entered into that, do please go and check it out in our YouTube channel. You can win a load of stuff. It's going to be awesome, and we will announce it live on this channel. The other thing I was going to ask is, what do people think about us doing like a set of how to play videos, going right back to basics on all of the individual bits of the game? Let us know your thoughts either now, or if you're watching this later on, in the comments below. Would you like something like that? And we would cover all the basics, how to attack, how to move, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, Robin, over to you.
Well, here we go. I'm going to paste something paste something in the comments, and hopefully that will take you somewhere interesting. If you click on it,
in the comments,
it's a dice tray.
Oh, okay.
The dice tray is live.
The dice tray is live.
The dice tray is live. I'm told it's live. Woo! So that's the link there.
Check that link out. It's where you can buy your very own Agents of Sigmar dice tray.
Yeah.
Is there a limited stock on that?
Well, I think there are 20 at the moment, but I think they can do more.
Yes, under Pang, that is your graphic on there. That is your work. So yes, I think they've got like 20 at the moment. They'll hopefully be able to produce more, because I think they're mostly producing them on demand anyway.
Yeah, they said there was no issue with more. I really had no idea how many we would sell, so I didn't want to say, do 500.
What are we going to do with the other 498? Don't know, but we've got one each now at least.
Yeah, Christmas. You have a dice tray, and you can have a dice tray, and you can have a dice tray. I'm sure all my kids' teachers would really like a dice tray.
What they want, yeah.
At the end
the
of
maths
term.
teachers will want one, so they can do all their probability stuff, more accurately. So, excellent. Go check that out. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody asked us, which has been the most disappointing warband so far?
Sorry, Pete. I'm just going to, before we answer that, did you asked, would people like us to do beginner content? Is that what you asked? Because lots of people have said that's a good idea. It seems so. We will definitely. We're meeting up. We're meeting in the daytime, aren't we? In a couple of weeks' time.
Hopefully.
To sort that out. To start that off. So that'd be good.
You're going to take a day off work to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're so amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa's got nothing on me. So, which has been the most disappointing warband so far for you?
Well, I know the answer for you is the Wurmspat, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I love them more than my own children in some ways, but their performance so far for me hasn't been as I would desire. Their cards haven't been what I would have liked. So, yeah, I'm not sure which is the most disappointing.
The most disappointing. It's an interesting one. Depends on how you look at it. I mean, I think Mollog has been the one I like least. Yeah. But in some ways, I'm more disappointed in the Eyes of the Night. Because I really like playing the Eyes of the Night. They're not quite good enough, and that's disappointing. That's more disappointing than Mollog being a bit boring. Kind of. And the Godsworn Hunt. And so I'm disappointed in the Godsworn Hunt at the moment, not because they're bad, but because they're in such a bad place. I think they've had lots of cards. Anything that made them good has been taken away from the game, because a lot of really great Shadespire cards for them, and they've been. There's nothing to replace them, so there's almost no reason to ever play the Godsworn Hunt now. The Reavers have better killer if everybody's dead cards than they do, and the Spoilers have better I'm going to kill you now cards than they do, and there isn't much in between. So I the Godsworn Hunt. There you go. Yeah. There's 3 answers.
There we go. So those are our cards. And we got asked, what did you find hardest when you first started out with the channel?
Talking to Pete.
I think our presentation on our early AOS videos was comical to watch.
I don't know what you mean.
It was the first video. I think you stare at your crotch the entire. You're just sort of sitting there the whole time because you obviously written.
I was reading my
you
script.
decided to leave it in your lap. So
It's a very nice
talking
crotch,
to your
that's why.
crotch the whole way through. Oh,
I can't see it when I'm standing up. I couldn't in those days.
I think it was just mostly trying to work out what people wanted to see more than anything. Was trying to work out if we do this, do people want to see that? Do people want to see this? So yeah, I think that was the.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's just been luck, hasn't it? I mean, it's not quite a question that was asked, but
good or bad, I can't work out
we just kind of did it for fun. We didn't really know what we were doing, and it was almost like, well, we'll do this. It's a bit of a laugh. We'll meet up every few weeks and do it. It was only when Underworlds came along and we really liked the game, and then that we actually started. And so it was never difficult in that sense because we evolved slowly.
It was.
It's got better. Somebody made a very nice comment on the giveaway video about us, basically saying they'd watched us. I think it was Brandon, one of our patrons. Brandon said he'd watched us from very near the beginning, and it's been really nice to see how things have improved. And of course, we were very lucky because we got an early copy of Shadespire, so we were the kind of like first out the blocks with it. And we liked the content, and everybody wanted to watch it because it was new and people were interested in it. And then we started to, well, okay, this is popular, so let's do this, because we were making the terrible iOS videos and nobody was watching those, which is fair enough because we only had like 1.5 armies between us kind of thing. And so the content wasn't very varied, it wasn't very good, and but we were able to build on the popularity and the relatively scarce nature of the content for Underworlds.
Yeah, I think we've been very lucky that there wasn't a lot of other people doing stuff, because if somebody like, I don't know, Mini Wargaming or something like that decided to start doing weekly content for it, we probably never would have got a look in. And even they only did a few videos, but even the few videos they did, because they had like 600,000 followers or whatever it is, they still hit like 30,000 views on their video. Yeah. And we'll never get to that level, but...
No. Pank says we might become full-time YouTubers.
That'd be nice. I think I think I worked out maths-wise, we probably need to increase we need to increase the number of people we have following us by a factor of 10, and then maybe we will then.
Maybe. I think the problem is as we've talked before, it's just getting the time to do the content to get the viewers. I don't know quite how we do that. I mean, it'd be really nice, but then I actually look at the amount of work that's involved in doing that. I'm not sure it'll ever be possible. No. I mean, the big guys do it all day.
Yeah, I mean, some of the people who do it, that is literally their job. There are other people out there who do it not as their day job, who do it on a part-time basis and stuff like that. And I think part of the key is regularity, and we've got that down, and we've definitely got our Patreon support is just absolutely phenomenal. So
I think Andrew's getting a bit cheeky. I'm not sure. We might have to ban him from the channel.
What's he saying now?
What brought me to the channel in your videos is the Eyes of the Nine. I thought maybe there is someone out there who can make the eyes work. Still haven't found that person yet.
Well, Andrew, if you're so clever, why don't you start your own channel?
Andrew actually can make them work.
That's true. Yeah, he beat me on the Sunday after the Great Clash, so I'm going to shut my mouth. And that kind of touched on one of the questions he asked us, which is, what would you like to improve or build upon on the channel? And I think for me it's just about getting more content out there and involving the community more in our stuff. So now we have Underworlds Online, we might be able to start playing people online at home, do some competition.
I need to start doing that. We kind of set up my setup, didn't we, to stream. I need to have the confidence that I might actually get it to work and actually just do it. This week hasn't been a good week to do that, but I need to do that. We had a little discussion with a couple of our painters on our Patreon painters to maybe Neg might do some videos of painting. They're interested in doing painting videos, and we would love to have that content hosted on Agents of Sigmar. So that's coming, maybe, hopefully. That'd be cool. And painting videos always do well on internet.
Patreon. So what's that? You can pay us £20 a month to paint stuff for us.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
sounds
fine
good.
by me. Yeah.
No, so we need to. That's very much in its early days, but that would be really great to work with. Ed and Milky are both up for it. Both up for the £20 a month and paint the figure. That's brilliant.
Awesome. That's a verbal contract. It's even a written contract. That's
really,
binding.
Yeah.
We are thinking of maybe trying to add another Patreon level that maybe gives some goodies back.
Yeah.
We haven't really got very far on that yet, but that's another idea in the works, along with the dice tray. So, those are all things we'd like to improve upon. Just try and get as
we're going to update our product catalogue on Teespring as well. We're going to do mugs and t-shirts and sweatshirts for the new logo. I thought I might do that today, but of course I didn't, because I procrastinated and played 2 games of Warhammer Underworlds Online
we
instead.
need that, because then you can start streaming that on YouTube and get more of the streaming community in as well. So that'd be awesome. I can't believe we still have over 50 people watching. Thank you to everybody.
It's amazing. So we have a new Underworlder in. Jace. There's a new picked up Hrothgorns today.
Welcome aboard, Jace. The addiction starts here.
I don't know if you've watched many of our videos yet, but we've got a couple of Hrothgorn, I can never say his bloody name, Hrothgorn videos, so do check those out, and it's really great to have you on board.
Says you wish you could buy Wise Must education costs so much. Well, look at it this way: if you invest the money now, then you won't be us in 15 years' time, hoping to make it big as YouTubers. You'll be able to make it big easier.
Andrew said, "How are the dice trays selling?" I don't know, Andrew. I literally just shared the link.
Well, when you buy one, we'll have sold one, so get over there and get on with it.
There are 18 left.
Wow, we've already sold 2.
There are 18 left. Two
I
gone
definitely
already.
didn't buy 2.
Ed bought one. Ed, you're a superstar.
Ed bought one of our mugs as well. I love Ed. Ed's the best.
Jason's been as hungry as an ogre for Hrothgorn videos. Okay, well, I don't think we've got that many, but
there's more on the way. And I don't know if you were around or whether you saw this bit or not, Jace, but Robin and I have each picked the new warbands, the Wurmspat and the Hrothgorn, to the Mantrappers to play over the next 6 weeks against different opponents and try and hone our deck. So you'll be getting more Hrothgorn content on the way. Yeah,
and do check out, if you haven't already, Jace, do check out Well of Power. It's one of the other community websites, and it has links to all the stuff where you can see all the content, and it tells you where they are. So there'll be ogre stuff on there as well if you haven't seen all that already. That's worth checking out.
And so I think in general, I personally would just like to just get as much content out as possible for the channel. That's where I want it to go. The more I can get out, the better. The more people. I've got 57 people online. You're all awesome. 58 just keeps going up. I just find it amazing that you people want to even listen to us.
In a minute though, it's just going to be you people watching you going 58, 59, 60.
People have watched weirder stuff on YouTube, mate. I'll tell you.
Oh, true. If you do it in a nice, soothing voice, then there's a market for that. I believe.
Talk like this into the microphone.
Oh, Pete, stop it.
He's blushing. What I say? Some more questions. Some brief end up questions, because I think we need to finish in a minute. What's the thing you forget most in an Underworlds game? For me, it's probably got to be either reaction cards or abilities. Always forget
abilities
those.
On fighters.
Yeah,
I think,
especially some warbands.
I think. Although, what upgrades are on cards is too, or which one of the Lady Harrow's fighters is which?
God, yeah, that's painful. When do we get the Agents of Sigmar prank channel? If we get any extra content, it's just going on the same channel.
I think if we did, we'd have to call it Undead Prank.
Hey, brilliant.
I think I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say now. I think most is fighter abilities all the time. I forget those.
Yeah, and we do have every now and then people going, "Oh, you forgot to do this thing during that game, or you forgot to do that pushback, or you forgot that cleave." I'll tell you, if you record a game and then you watch it back, you will be horrified with the things that you forget during that game. Just horrified.
Yeah, well, I think both Grand Clash winners have mentioned things they've forgotten in their games. So everybody
People
does it.
Forget to pick up. Sorry, go on.
Sorry. Well, Amman was saying that in one of the games he charged the chain rifle. He did actually manage to hit, but he'd forgotten it was inspired. So he only rolled 2 dice. He still managed to kill somebody with it or something. But
see, that's how he wins these things. He forgets stuff, but still does brilliantly anyway. I forget stuff.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is.
It's got nothing else to do with anything else. What other questions?
Steve says mistakes are part of gaming. Well, they're certainly ours. Part of
It's
ours.
certainly part of our gaming. I would challenge anyone to record as many games as we do and not make mistakes. That's all I say. We did get asked the question: do we think the new warbands will win a grand clash? Are either of them Grimwatch competitive? That kind of thing. And will the new cards shake up the meta? I think Hrothgorn might win a grand clash, possibly.
Yeah, I think they're more likely to win a grand clash. Although it depends whether Games Workshop accidentally do some sort of lost pages equivalent of the relics and the Wurmspat.
That's true.
The Wurmspat pick it up by mistake. Hello,
VJ.
I
VJ's
think,
just turned up.
And he's had his son vaccinated.
Very good. That's what you need to do. Get your children and pets vaccinated.
Yeah.
Definitely the pets, probably also the children at least. So I think Hrothgorn's got a good chance of winning a grand clash. I think he might have that Mollog surprise factor where people are like, oh god, he's really tough, and unless you've played against him, you might not notice just what he's like, and you just get smashed. Or you could be an idiot like I was in one game and get told multiple times, oh, if you don't move that character effectively, I can one-shot them, and I'd just sit and go, anyway, I'm going to do something completely different now. And then you go, okay, I'm now going to one-shot them, and I've gone, oh yeah, I completely missed that.
I even told you.
Yeah, I know. I've got no one to blame. I'm sitting there watching the videos. I'm editing it going, you're just an idiot. You're just an idiot. Didn't say that out loud, obviously. The woman opposite me looked rather upset. VJ says that playing Underworlds Online last night was a blast, reminding him how much he liked the game. Yes, I have found a new love for Shadespire Underworlds. Rediscovered my Shadespire Underworlds love.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited again for like Reavers and Skaven to reappear in Underworlds Online.
Yep, definitely. It is interesting because people have been sort of complaining is perhaps the wrong word, but there's been some talk about the fact that it doesn't reflect the current meta. We did touch on this last week when we had Cal on, but I think it's the same game, but it's a different game, and so for me it works. I don't think it needs to. I mean, okay, if you want to practice to win grand clashes, physical grand clashes, then it's not gonna, it's not going to cut the mustard. You're going to have to play on Vassal or on something else, TTS. But if you just want to play a really good game, because we all love that game, and I'm not sure it's any worse than the existing game. It's the same game, but the meta's different, and they've tightened a few things up. But I assume they'll kind of some of the bits that didn't quite work in the sort of first season, which I can't really put my finger on what now, they will have tidied those up as they go. They won't introduce
one thing like
any of them.
They probably won't bring relics in, I reckon.
No, you're probably right.
Which won't be. I won't be sad to not see relics in Shadespire, frankly. So I'm hoping they can avoid little pit traps like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll edit their fighters at all. But yeah, it's nice to see that they can make those changes really.
Yeah, Valentine just said, have we tried playing Hunter's Reflexes with Hrothgorn? You can push him after every enemy activation and interrupt all their reactions. Yeah, I haven't yet. I somehow missed that card on my first troll, but when I was looking to update the deck, I'm going to play it this week. Because, I think it's pretty...
Yeah, I mean, because one thing you don't want is Hrothgorn getting near you, and that'll just enable him to just skip across the board.
Yeah, but it also interrupts, because it's after activation. Yeah. So it interrupts things like rippers.
The dogs up.
And I actually wonder whether Games Workshop whether they'll go back on their ruling, because they ruled that the end of a move action is the end of an activation, and so now cards that are after an activation interrupt cards after a move action or after an attack action. And I wonder whether they really thought that through. I think they did it for simplicity. When you finish, that's the end. But actually, whether they might. Because there's no reason why the end of a move action has to be the same as the end of an activation. The activation could be after you've played any reactions to your move action. Yeah. I'm putting my hands on each other here, but it's off camera. And so I wonder whether they'll go back, because there are interactions like the bats we've talked about before, and now this one, and it interrupts things like rippers. And the rippers kind of thing is that they have this extra attack. That's kind of their thing. And there are a number of ways now which screw it up, which seems disproportionately bad for them.
Yeah, although for certain other people, like there are quite a few other warbands that's not going to make a slightest bit of difference to them. I mean, it's still going to be bad that he's going to be getting pushed to hex after every enemy activation, because that's going to make him hella fast, but it's not going to make that much difference to, say, Nurgle or whatever, because they're not going to have any after activation things.
No, but I think it's a that means it's will you people not bring rippers, because every time they meet an ogre they're basically screwed. I mean, it's not quite that bad, but I just wonder whether they might peel it back. I think
things like Blazing Souls is better for Hrothgorn still. Getting him inspired early in a game can really make him really dangerous. So
yeah, I mean, he's so powerful inspired. I'm thinking, because I only played Blazing Soul in our previous games, I'm thinking putting Regal Vision in as well, because he's so powerful, and even throwing away the first 5 power cards if I haven't got Blazing Soul, because getting him inspired early
makes him a beast.
He's really, really nasty when he's inspired. And if you get him inspired before your opponent's had a chance to kind of put very many upgrades on their fighters, it's painful for them.
Yeah. So we had a few questions back up here. Underpank says, "Are we sad about the older warbands are basically just gone, not even in card art?" A little bit, but such is GW way.
Yeah.
They'll always be in our hearts.
Yeah. So Circus of Page just said, personally, he would say after an attack action and after an activation he says would be, which meant wouldn't be the same reaction window. Well, I think that's how most of us would have. Yeah, but then if you read the next comment, he says won't.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how most people are expecting to be, and Games Workshop have ruled that they are the same.
To me, that I feel that they would be the same.
Okay,
but
well, they are the same, so you're right.
But I can see.
But I don't see why they would, because you have the move action and then you react to it. Either player could react to it, and then that's the end of the that's the activation. Because that's how I would always see it until the ruling.
Yeah, that makes sense as well. VJ says that as Underworlds Online progresses through Nightvault and Beastgrave, it will change, but hopefully they can avoid the things that drove him away in Nightvault. And I agree. I'd like to see. Hopefully they'll bring in that cap on Surge cards, and maybe they'll leave out a few of the more abused instant scores and stuff like that made the game just a charge fest in Nightvault.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what they do, whether they bring in the cards but then restrict them, so they have the concept of a restricted list, or whether they just don't bring in the restricted cards. And I hope they don't bring in any banned cards. That would seem like a very silly thing to do.
Yeah. Hopefully they won't bring those in.
I don't think they'll reword them, because obviously that's something else they could do. They could reword Time Trap or something, but I don't think they would.
No. And then Underpank says, what was the best era, Shadespire, Nightvault, or Beastgrave? He thinks Shadespire. I think Beastgrave. I think Nightvault was definitely the low point. Near the end of Nightvault, I should say.
Yeah. I have tended to find mid-season has been the most interesting. I think the mid-season of Nightvault was good, and I like where the game is now. I haven't really had a chance to see what Hrothgorn and the Wurmspat will do for it, but I prefer Beastgrave to play. I found it more interesting, but I do think that the Thorns and the Grimwatch are disproportionately powerful. It's all right because I haven't played them that much, but I do find them just. They're the meta deck, and lots of people take them, which is I don't think it's great when you have. I guess in an ideal world, if you had a top 16 final, you'd want to have as many of those 16 represented from different warbands as possible. But actually, there was only about 3, with a couple of outliers.
Mr. Marlowe says that he fears that Hrothgorn will become Mold 2.0 because whilst the trap mechanic's cool, just making the ogre or killing machines much easier and requires less finesse. And I agree. I think that is the worry.
Yeah, and then Jace has got on to say rerolls are really strong because dice modification is really powerful, which it is. It's massive, and Hrothgorn's got different ways to do it. Yeah, and that is also true. And they've tended to always restrict those. He's got his own awakened weapon, hasn't he? And then he's got the other one with the Noblar if you've gone along as adjacent to. So it's be interesting to see.
I reckon Hrothgorn's going to be the one to beat coming up. I think it'll be all eggs in a Hrothgorn shaped basket and just smashing away.
And David Christie's asked, do we think that Games Workshop will restrict faction cards? That's a really interesting question. I kind of feel like they probably should.
Especially with some of the Hrothgorn ones.
Yeah, although I think what's most broken about the Thorns is Varklav's ability. I think we talked about that last week. But I think, what were we talking about? Seized Weapon. Talking about today, weren't we? That card is just ridiculously good. I mean, it's a... At least you haven't got ready for action as well now, but you can play doing that together. But I think that card could do with being restricted.
Yeah, there's a few, and they're definitely only in the last few warbands. I think they've come in that there are cards where you're like, it's too good. And I think the Grimwatch faction specific cards and a lot of the Hrothgorn faction specific cards are just a lot better than a lot of other warbands. So yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know if they're going to restrict anything or change Varklav's ability. I feel that they won't, purely because the Thorns didn't win any Grand Clashes. But the fact that Grimwatch won so many tells me that maybe that the Grimwatch faction cards combined with the objectives, the universals, maybe they're just a bit too good. I was thinking that you can make a good deck with any warband, but if your warband specific cards are rubbish, then you've got to rely on the universals, and everybody's got those. So it really does come down to, have you got other warband specific cards that work better with your warband synergies? And I think Grimwatch definitely have that in spades.
Yeah, right. We have a few questions, but we're getting to 11:30, so we probably need to wrap up.
Though, yeah.
If they didn't, I think Otaris 2099 says that if they didn't restrict faction cards for Stormside, they probably went for Grimwatch. I tend to agree with that. I don't think they will, but I think they should. And then Jason said, are the Grots going to be used for more for their effects or for the objectives, do you think? I'm not necessarily a particularly good player, but in the games we've had with them, I found that they tend to get left behind, and they're handy for I think there are cards where you can flip objectives if you're next to them, which I was using them for, but I find it's difficult. I find it difficult to keep fighters that should be close together. So I ended up just getting Hrothgorn inspired and then blasting everything I possibly could with him, and then just pushing Pete into traps and things where I could. Is there a style of play you feel is lacking in the game? I don't know. It's a really difficult question.
Objective play is really strong at the moment, but then people are starting to play a lot of magic heavy decks, and people are still going for offensive decks as well. So I think the only thing maybe that's not quite that strong at the minute is denial heavy decks.
Yeah, maybe a bit of aggro. I think aggro is okay. I just think it could do with a couple of. There should be a couple of cards like the old one where you score if so many fighters are dead, not annihilation.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
Carnage, pure carnage, that kind of thing. I think that they could be some. Just a reward. It's a risk reward thing. At the moment, the aggro take a much more risk and they don't get much more reward, I don't think. Whereas objectives is comparatively risk free and the rewards are quite high.
And David Christie said Grimwatch objectives are less interactive than Curse Breakers. They don't even require dice rolls, and I think that's why Grimwatch do better. You've just got to put people in places and you're going to start winning glory. So whereas a lot of other warbands you've got to hit things or cast things or that kind of thing.
Jeff has said the answer seems to be hammer bone weapons and bonus glory for killing stuff. Yeah, that's true. There's the trophy belt and all that kind of stuff. That is true.
The average score on a game has definitely gone up from Shadespire through Nightbolt to Beastgrave.
Yeah,
and I don't know how they're going to slow that down unless they start bringing out next season a whole bunch of lower scoring objectives. You'll hear us. No. Oh, it just reconnected. Hopefully we're back in. Are we back in? Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there. I think we had a small disconnection. I think we're all back in the world of being connected again.
All good.
Sorry about that, guys. Not sure what happened there. Just said it disconnected. Now it's reconnected. So maybe my internet had a bit of a fit. I think
we're back.
I think that maybe that was the internet's way of telling us that we need to go to bed, Robin.
Yeah,
So
well, the computer's
sorry
like,
about that, guys. So just to wrap up now, I think we all need to go to bed. Do check out our giveaway. Do comment on that if you haven't already. If you're interested, there is a link that we will post. Robin's already posted it. You can buy a dice tray with our logo on. We're going to be updating Teespring.
there are still 18 left. Nobody else has bought one yet.
We're going to be updating Teespring, try and get some more merch out there. And if you're after more stuff, maybe go and check out Patreon, because we've got loads of people getting on there now. We're up to 66. It's awesome. And there's a Discord on there, and you get discounts on versatile terrain stuff as well. And the Discord is off the charts these days, so it's been great. And we also have Warhammer Underworlds Online tournaments on there too. We've started doing that, so that's also another plus. Hopefully in the near future we'll be bringing you some more Warhammer Underworlds Online content live. We've set things up now, so I can stream on Twitch, Robin can stream on YouTube, so you'll be able to see both of our games in one go, so that'd be cool. The dice tray does not have a green bottom, I'm afraid, VJ, but we could probably do a version of that if you really wanted it.
Got a green screen.
Yeah. So thank you guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight, thank you to everybody, it's been fantastic, and I need to go to bed now. Robin, I don't know about you.
Me too.
Right guys, so we'll be seeing you soon in the Beastgrave. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.
See you, bye.